Are you trying to figure out how to get things done? Are you trying to look for knowledge that can actually help you do something, be better at what you do? Hi, I'm Joyce Mbaya, founder of ZD, where we provide affordable online courses for Africa. This is the place for you, the ZD podcast, where we have inspiring conversations with amazing people. And the ultimate goal is to help you know more so you can do more. So, welcome to the first section of the customer service course. In this section, we're going to be going through defining the customer, getting this person called customer. And in this first lecture, I want to talk about what the word customer means. When you hear customer, it's a word we use loosely, customer. Customer, although guys confuse customer and client, especially in Kenya, like my client, my customer, sounds like the same thing. Well, guess what? The word customer is from the word custom. What does custom mean? It's a habit, it's a practice. So it's a habitual thing. So the word customer is all about a repetitive practice. And what is the practice? It's to serve, it's to give. It's a very simple thing. You're giving of yourself to someone continuously. What's more important now when we come to the business side is that the word customer is all about that person who is using your products and services all the time. And that's why I said this is where the cash money comes from. It's so powerful. If you don't get the customer element, guess what? There is no business. None of us are getting paid. So the customer is very powerful because the customer is the person who has believed in you and invested in the business in order to actually make the business work. So customer comes from custom because you're in a habit or practice of serving someone. But more than that, they're the person who are buying products and services from you. They're utilizing everything that you're doing. So I look at customer also, or serving a customer as a calling. We are all called to serve in our businesses. And who are we serving? We are serving our customer. So we're still in the first section where we're defining our customer. And in the last lecture, we've actually talked about what the word customer means. Now let's get a bit deeper. Let's understand, why do customers matter? Why should we even spend our whole course, here learning about customer service and being trained, right? Customers are so key. Like I said, the customer is the cash money. Let me tell you, without a customer, there's nothing any of us are doing here. There's no business that's going to succeed. So customers are the ones who pay for the products and services, and therefore they're the heart of the business. But there are a few other reasons why customers matter. Reason number one, competition. Compare. Because let me tell you, you know that thing of every time you think you've come up with a brilliant idea and then you Google, guess what? 10 other people are doing the same thing. Kwanza, in this culture of ours, we have that, we call it Me Too thing. You start a business, then a guy says, hey, you're making money. They also start the same business. And 10 other shops come up in the same place. Those are the problems we have. So you imagine that you're not going to say, I'm original. I'm the only one. With this kind of a business, there is nothing like that. So a customer is important because why should they choose you when there's so much competition? Why should they come to you to actually use your business and your services? Why not go to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy who has decided to start a similar business? So competition. Customers matter because there's so much competition. And so if we don't take care of our customers, it's so easy for me to say, you know what? Today, you guys served me cold chai. I'm going to the next restaurant. I don't have to come to you every day, right? Second reason, and I've just touched on it, product similarity. Product similarity also means that there's so many options of where we can get things. And then guys, in this digital age, it's actually gotten crazier. You can imagine now there's online shops. So you can't say you're going to a supermarket to buy things. There's so many options for customers. Products are the same. So innovation, sorry to burst your bubble. Like I said, you think you're inventing the next thing. The days of, they're called what? Bell. And guys who invented telephones and new things seem to be gone. Every time we want to invent something, 10 other people invented it. So again, products are similar. I have option 1, 2, 3 to 10. For me to choose yours, you must serve me well as a customer. It's about how you treat me, not the product. Finally, people are informed. Google University is alive and doing very well. What do we do anytime we want to know something? Google. In fact, nowadays I think there used to be a time people could lie. At you're in a click, your pals, you're giving stories and you give your facts confidently. Do you know what guys do? They Google. I think guys are even careful nowadays because you're feeling that you're giving a story and just see guys on their phone. Let me just confirm that. So you're busted very easily. So customers do the same thing. So now that we've covered all the reasons why customers matter, we're going to take it even further and figure out what are the types of customers, right? So there are different types of customers, and I'll talk all about that. So remember, we're defining customers. What was the first lecture about? Do you even remember? I hope I haven't lost you, right? We defined the word customer, then we talked about why customers matter. So the final lecture of this section is all about types of customers. This is just practical information to know, because like I said, the word customer is loosely used around. And now I want you to really understand what it means, the actual science a little bit behind customer. So two types of customers. We have internal customers and external customers. So internal customers, there's this Kenyan thing of internal customers is internal customers. Why internal? But I won't do that to you. I'll actually define it. So internal customers are the people within your business that you actually serve. Isn't that interesting? Because most of us assume customer is that outside person. Remember what we said, that they're spending money. But later it became clear, as the business of customer service evolves, or the science of it, people came to realize, even though we work together in a company as a team, we are customers of each other, right? Because finance department needs another department, right? Commercial department needs, tech department, who knows? So all of us working together as a team in the business, we are customers of each other, because for me to do what I do, I may not be dealing with external customers. I hope you guys are with me. But my work and your work have to mesh well together for us to serve our customer who's paying. So internal is in my team, within my business, the business I'm in, the different departments and guys I'm interacting with can also be my customers. These are internal customers. Then, of course, now we have that customer that I defined, the external customer, the person spending chums or spending cash, right, to be able to help us to pick a product or service from us. So internal customers are the people within the business, ourselves as a team, internal, together, how we are serving each other. We are also customers of each other. And then external customers are the people outside, the people paying, the people utilizing our products and services. And the other thing I want to bring out here, which is very important, is where would you place suppliers? Where would you place? Take a guess. What do you think? Have you guessed? So suppliers, we view them as semi-internal. They sit between. Because a supplier is sort of, what are they doing? They're giving us some sort of a service, right? But suppliers tend to feel like they are also sort of internal, isn't it? Because they're helping us do something. So suppliers sit somewhere in between, but they also can be viewed as customers. It's a symbiotic, big words, mutual relationship. So key thing to remember, internal, the team inside the business, how we are working together. External, the person paying to utilize our products and services, giving us money and actually paying for what we are doing. Okay, so now we actually know the definition of the word customer. Summary comes from the word custom. You can't forget that. It's easy. Customer, custom, right? And then why customers matter. We give the reasons, pay, product similarity, Then we've actually talked about types of customers, internal and external. Guess what? You're done with section 1. You're doing so well. See? Quick and easy, it's not complicated. So finishing this section, define your customer. Now we are moving to the next section. We're going to get a little bit deeper in this story where we start talking about the customer life cycle. We are going into something very interesting, the customer life cycle, which is a process. Like life cycle is cycle. It's a process that a customer goes through from the time we meet them to how we get them to sign up in the business and all that. You know what I relate this to? This is going to be very easy. Let's talk about Kukatiana. I know, right? You're wondering, Now, for some of you, this is even a freebie because you're going to get bonus content that can help your personal life, as we're talking about customers. 2 in 1. For those of you who are in this stage where you're throwing vibes, this will be good for you. So I relate the customer life cycle to the same process we go through, when you're looking for a spouse, when you're hooking up. Imagine it's the same, and I'll tell you why. So let's get straight into it. Customer life cycle. Step 1, friendship. So, where does the dating process start? Friendship, Although some of you have been friend zoned for a while, but let's not talk about that in another life. But the friendship, you have to become friends. You meet someone, you're like, they're interesting. Oh, I'm interested. I want to talk to them. Although, again, chicks vibing, guys vibe, I don't know how that works. Nowadays, I hear it's not just the guy who approaches the chick, so let's not even go there. But someone approaches someone, right? And you're interested and you want to be friends. With a customer, it's the same. The first time a customer hears about your business, we call this stage discovery. So step 1 in the customer life cycle is discovery. I'm a customer, I'm looking around, I have a problem, I want to buy, let me even give my own examples. In this motherhood life of mine, diapers, oh God, I like this big spend in my household. So I want to buy, and I'm like, where can I buy them, right? I'm looking. I might know they're in supermarkets, I might know they're in chemists. So you have a need of something you want to buy, right? That's a customer, and they're discovering, they're looking. These are guys start shopping around. Or shoes, I want to buy shoes for my child, I want to buy shoes for myself. I have to discover, I have to look and find where they are. So that's what we call the first stage of the customer life cycle, discovery. Customers are looking around, they want your service, they want your product, and they're just shopping too. Same way when you're vibing someone, you're single, looking for someone, you're looking around, hot person here, becoming friends. So it's just that exploration stage. So in the discovery stage of the customer life cycle, what's important for the business is to build a relationship. It's to make yourself accessible to your customer. Yeah? Do you have a website? Where does your customer go to find your products and services? When they're looking for what they're looking for, can they find you? Can they connect you to what they want? Communication is very important here. Are you showcasing the benefits of your products and services? The first time you meet a customer, when you've gone for that first meeting, how are you handling that meeting? Because remember, like we said, if it's like Kukatia 9, the first time you meet someone, you dress well, right? You try and endear yourself to them. You want to make a good first impression. Same thing applies with the customer. They are discovering, they are looking. That first impression is very critical. So show up correct for the meeting, prepare, make sure you're communicating the benefits, handle it well, because the customer hasn't made up their mind that they want to work with you. And so you have to be careful how you handle the relationship. Benefits are important, communication is important. So we're still in the customer life cycle. We've talked about step one. Step one is what? Discovery, which will relate to friendship, right? When you're hooking up with someone. So what's the next stage? You've become friends, you like someone. You start dating, right? And what is dating? The coffee here and there, the movie, Then the whole idea is you're going out and hanging out so that you can get to know each other. The secret here, I told you guys I'm giving you 2-in-1, is don't share too much on the first date. Don't go and pour your whole life history. Oh my God, this happened to me. Give it in piecemeal. So dating is like a nice, simple process where, just getting to know each other. I'm getting to know you step by step. And I'm giving information, right? So that it's like an assessment. Is this person right for me based on what we're sharing? So with the customer, it's the same thing. Step 2 is what we call education. Education means the customer now wants to know. So you went, they've discovered, they've looked at you, they're like, you have the product I need, you have the service I need, give me more information. So educate your customer. How does this thing work? What's your process? Could be pricing, who knows? So there's like information sharing. That's why we call it education, because you're educating your customer about your product so that you can convince them to buy. So this is a very critical step, because at this step, the customer now decides whether you're the person who's going to fulfill their need or not. The same way, when you're vibing someone, when you're looking for a spouse, dating is very key, because people when they're dating, they're trying to decide, should I commit to you, or should I continue playing the field, looking around, trying to see if there's someone else I can hook up with, or is it you? Are you the one? So the same thing with the customer. They're trying to decide, is your business the one? So this stage is very important. Be knowledgeable. Make sure you're giving all the information the customer needs, and try and convince them that you have what it takes to actually address their needs. So we're going to move on to the next step. So we said step 1 is what? Discovery. Step 2 is education. So this is step 3 of the customer life cycle. Step 1, I'll recap again, discovery. Step 2, education. Step 3, purchase. Now, where were we? We said friendship. We've dated. What happens after that? I hear they call it DTR. Define the relationship. This is where you start going steady. You start going out. This is where you start saying, you're my girlfriend, you're my boyfriend. There's no one else. We are committed. Other people are cast aside, because now it's you and I together. Although I always find this stage funny, because it's also where you find drama with people, where someone is saying, but he's not asked me out. I'm not sure if I'm his girlfriend. And men, tip to you, please say something. Don't assume someone knows they're your girlfriend. It needs to be DTR, defined. But with the customer, it's the same thing, right? So they've been discovering, they've gotten the education about your products, and then they decide, you are the one. I am buying your product or service. I am purchasing. And this is now the commitment they make. Let me tell you something. By the time it removes their money, cash, to pay for something you're offering, never, ever, ever take that for granted. And even if you're a business owner, take a proud moment, because people parting with their moolah, call it moolah, is not an easy thing. So this customer, by the time they decide to purchase your service, just know, that you've done a lot, you've done a good job, and don't take it for granted. Don't assume, but it's us, we have this thing. No, they could have gone to anyone else. And that's what a lot of people make the mistake of. So your customer decides to purchase. How do you handle it? Have the right contracts. Make sure they understand what they're going through. Answer their questions. Like I said, parting with my money is not an easy thing. So don't feel disturbed when the customer keeps asking you questions and wanting to know what's going on. Because they've spent their money, they expect to also get good value in return. So be patient, handle it well. This stage is critical because also if a customer comes out with bitterness here, hey, let me tell you, that person can rubbish your business everywhere because now they even have the pain of the fact that they've spent money. So stage 3 is very interesting, going steady. The same way in a relationship, this is where drama starts. Drama is never when we are dating and doing the coffees and the movies. Drama is when we are boyfriend and girlfriend and domestic start. But it's fine because with commitment also comes challenges. Face those challenges head on. Remember also, something interesting about going steady, competition kicks in here. When you're boyfriend and girlfriend, that is when, let me tell you, other people will start vibing you. I don't know why when people hook up, suddenly they seem so appealing. So I see a lot of breakups because at that moment we decided to hook up. And now, random character popped up and decided, you know what, I've decided, you're also commitment material to me. It's called slicing, I hear. Someone comes and slices that relationship. Same thing happens with customers. They've purchased, you take them for granted, your competition is still there, they can easily steal your customer because you didn't serve your customer well. So remember, going steady is important. Stage 3, purchase. The customer has now made the commitment. You're in a relationship with your customer. Treat them well, make sure you answer your question, be patient, handle the challenges so that they can actually stay on to step 4. So we are still in the process, in the journey with our customer, right? Step 1 was what? Let me see if you remember. What was step 1? Discovery. Yes, good. Step 2, education. Step 3, purchase. The customer has bought your product. So what happens in step 4? Step 4, guess what? The first thing I'll say, by the way, before I even tell you what step 4 is, it doesn't end when they give you money because most businesses make this assumption that after people have bought the product, see, we are happy, we got paid, life is good, we move on. This is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. Step 4 is very critical. It's support. It's called after purchase. So after I've bought your service, are you checking on me? Did you ask me for feedback about how the service was? Are you still, coming to see me and making sure that I'm having a good experience with your product? Very, very, very important. And enough people lose business because they handle up to step 3 well. Step 4, they forget about the customer because they're chasing new clients. So that story just dies. Same thing happens in a relationship. You're going steady, and we call step 4 engagement. Remember, I told you there's a double class going on for those who are following that side. Yeah, now we've gone steady. What happens after you go steady? You've been together, you've been in a relationship. The next natural step is engagement. Engagement is big. Of course, nowadays, people have become dramatic with popping the question. My God, Kenyans. Hey, these things I'm seeing on Facebook. Helicopters are involved. Man, I'm glad on my generation, life was simple. It was get down on one knee and propose. Will you marry me? Yes. Now, these other movies that are happening, which have to be caught on social media, I don't know about that. But anyway, however you choose to do it, engagement is a big deal. It's a commitment. It's you saying, after you've been going steady, I've decided this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. With your customer, it's the same. Support is important because after they buy the service, you want to keep this customer because we always say it's much more affordable to keep an existing customer than chase new ones. It's always cheaper to service an existing customer, let me say that again, than keep looking for new customers. We call it repeat business. You can get repeat business. So that support stage is about making sure that your customer, after they bought one thing from you in the supermarket, they'll come back and buy another, right? After they used one service, you tell them, you know what, we also have this other service that you'd also love, and they come back for it. So you keep engaging them so that they stay, and even better, maybe they even recommend you to other people. So support is where the commitment gets deeper with your customer because it's a relationship now. I call you, you call me, we keep talking, and there's more going on beyond the purchase. Same way, when you get engaged, you're going into a deeper commitment. You're getting ready to make that final, woohoo, big step, life commitment in this whole journey that you've been making when you've been dating. So step 4, support, very important. Have structures for support and make sure that you don't forget about your customer. Call, email, ask them how they are doing. very important. We're almost at the end of the life cycle, so let's move on to step 5. Ten, ten, ten. Everyone knows that song. Ten, ten, ten. Here comes the bride. We're walking down the aisle. I'm sure you can see it. And we love weddings. I don't know, rice, pilau. Oh, what are those Kenyan songs guys like singing? By the for the record, Kenyan weddings are very, no matter how many I go for, I love that we are so stereotypical. What's that thing guys have to do where the bride comes in and then we dance in a circle, going round, round, round. And it's always the same in every wedding. Nothing wrong with that. That's what makes weddings fun. So guess what? We're in step 5, the life cycle. We've gone through a process, right? We've discovered, we've educated, the customer bought a service, we've supported them. I'm sure you're wondering, what other steps are left? Well, there's one more, marriage, right? Like we said, you've become friends, you've dated, you've gone steady, you've engaged. It didn't end with engagement. And guys, this thing of being perpetually engaged for years is very painful. I'm not people who are engaged for 5-10 years. Nonsense. Please make the final step. Engagements forever are actually not value adding. If you're going to get engaged, finish and get married. So here we are, marriage. You know, marriage is that lifelong commitment. It's you and me for the rest of our lives. And guess what? That's what she's with the customer as well. We call step 5 advocacy. By the way, at this point, hey, your customer is almost now an employee, you know, because they've moved in, they're using your products and services, they are passionate. This is that stage where you find a customer selling your business for you. They're like, have you heard about this thing? I've been using it for 3 years. You must take it. I'm sure you've seen those situations. That's a customer who's in the advocacy stage, and it's such a sweet thing because your customers turn into salespeople. Can you imagine? You have 1,000,001 salespeople working all over, just marketing your business for you for free because they are with you. They are so committed. They are like, I would never ever go to someone else because these guys have sorted me out time and again. And you've had stories like that. That's where you want your customer to be. Unfortunately, many of us never get here because we drop the ball here and there. So the goal is always, if you can get your customers to step 5, advocacy. That's, I think even money rolls in because people are talking about your business. You don't have to invest in marketing. So all of us should be aiming to get advocates, customers who advocate, market our business, bring in even more business, give recommendations because they're embedded and they're so passionate about what we do, and we've converted them into preachers and believers. Same way in marriage. It's a lifelong commitment. When you get married to someone, when you get to that stage, it's the big deal. It's not a small thing. Family gets involved, right? So it's no longer about the two of you. Many more people are getting involved into what you're doing. But there's a catch here. Marriage also is where, again, higher levels of drama come in because you're in a lifelong commitment. It's not so easy to walk away from a marriage, right? I mean, the complications are more as opposed to breaking up a relationship. Same thing with a customer who's in advocacy. When you mess up with a customer who's been with you to the advocacy stage, the consequences on your business are higher because it's more painful. You can find out they can also turn into the worst nightmare for your business. They are everywhere rubbishing your business because it will also hurt deeply for them. So be very careful with customers in advocacy. That commitment comes at a price. So you have to make sure that if there are issues, handle them. They are your VIPs, by the way. VIP. If you don't handle them that way, it can also cost you very, very dearly. So step 5, marriage is advocacy. Your customer is embedded in your business. They're a part of you. They will preach. They will get you more business. However, be careful to also handle them as your VIP customers because if it goes sour, it will cost you dearly. And that's the customer life cycle, people. You see, if you understand this, whether you're in sales or not in a business, then you know how your business can actually bring in customers and keep them. This is not just something for sales and marketing, guys. It's for everyone. Because everything we do, if we remember this, then you'll always be able to succeed in business because you remember who you're serving, how you're serving them, and the steps that you have to go through. So that's the customer life cycle. Again, just as a final recap, you should never forget this because I've recapped it enough times. Step 1, discovery. Step 2, education, get to know about the products and services. Step 3, purchase, I've bought your service. Step 4, support, I'm checking on you, I'm supporting you as you use the service. Step 5, advocacy, you've bought enough services from me, you're now preaching about my product to everyone else, you've become an advocate for my business. So now that I know you're an expert on the customer life cycle, I'm sure you can even teach this to someone else. We need to have a little activity. I want this to be very practical for you. Where you sit now, whatever role you have in the business or whatever you do, I want you to just have this activity where you download the worksheet and you actually fill the critical steps of the life cycle. So I want you to apply this life cycle practically in the type of business you're in, whatever business it is. Go through each of the steps, filling out what stages your customer goes through. From step 1, indicate the things that happen in your business when it comes to that activity. So everything has been described in this nice downloadable PDF worksheet. So what I'd like you to do is download that worksheet. Make sure you complete it. I'd like you to do it right now, especially when the content is still fresh. Don't wait too long to do your homework. I'll be there to check. But this is important because it will now help you take the information that I've just shared and make it even more practical for wherever you're working now, whatever business you're in. Okay, so next lecture, click the document. It's a PDF. It will download onto your machine and then just fill out the worksheet. When you're done, feel free to send a message with your comments or emails or send it to me. But even for yourself, share it with your colleagues, discuss it, because this now helps you apply all those key steps and in understanding how you guys are taking care of your customer, what process you're actually following, and maybe even defining the process. So we're getting into the final section of this customer service course, and this is actually the section that's called customer service. Isn't it interesting? Rather than dive straight into customer service, we first had to understand who the customer is, understand the process around our customer, right? So that now we're in a position to serve them, and give them service. So we're going to get a little bit into some basics of customer service in this section. And to start off, I want to talk about something called service versus experience. As we are calling this a customer service course, guess what? Customer service is outdated. Everything now is about customer experience. We no longer serve customers, we give them emotional experiences. This is very powerful. If you get this, you'll become a guru of customer service overnight because you'll actually be intentional about giving people good experiences. In fact, do me a favor, take a moment, think about the last amazing experience you had. Where were you? What happened? Something memorable that happened to you. Every time I do this, even in a practical training, the stories I hear, some people talk about who've been married for, 15 years, talk about their honeymoon. Something that happened ancient years before, but it's stuck in their memory. Are you with me? And then guess what? In fact, have you done that? Take a moment. Yes. Good experience. Is it coming to mind? In the same light, think about the last bad experience you had. Something which even now, some of us start thinking about, we just start getting hot. We're getting annoyed. We're like, man, those guys messed me up. There's an internet service provider, I shall not name names, who has a lot of those stories on social media. But the guys have horror stories. And let me tell you, this is something you never want for your business. So experience, right? Something that happened to you. Some people even cry. They're like, those people really messed me up. In fact, I have a special note here for people who are in, I don't know what to call them, care industries, hospitals, restaurants, hotels. You guys are the ones in the line of fire because you're offering services that touch people close to heart. And when you handle it badly, you cause a lot of pain. I can't even begin to describe, because most of the horror stories I hear around, hey, I went to this restaurant, I ordered food, that waiter, then confused, then they got late with my dish, and then they overcharged me, things which are so personal to us, food, medicine, right? So it's all about experiences because we remember good experiences, and guess what? We remember bad experiences. So the new mode of customer service in this day and age is about creating positive, memorable experiences for our customers. I'll give you an example. I use Taxify, Uber, these cab services, the apps, very often. And these are guys who, of course, again, they're in the line of customer service, isn't it? So I always remember like a standout experience I had, and it was just about the person's commitment. These are something you use all the time. So what's the standard mode? You ask on the app. In fact, this thing happens in Kenya where you order the app and the guy has to call you and say, Taxify. It's like they have to confirm. Yet you've requested with the app and the guy has to confirm. Did you ask for this Taxify? Did you? Where are you? Me, I'm here. Kenyans can't help themselves. We still won't rely on the tech. We are untrusting like that, or distrusting or mistrusting, whatever that word is. So you go through that process. You give you, I'm here. Okay, so I'm coming to pick you up, and that's normal. So this happened. The first thing that struck me and why this is a memorable experience for me is the minute I requested the taxi. From the moment this guy accepted my request, I even thought, is there? We get suspicious. And people are being nice. I was like, boss, I hope this guy is not going to be vibing. That life cycle we're talking about. Because the way he was being so smooth with his stories, I was like, gosh, what's the motive? He called me and he was just like, the way he even said my name, he just said, good afternoon, Joyce. You've requested a even, you look at your phone like, you're thinking, have I been called by an office or is this that regular cab guy? So he greeted me. His English was very good. He didn't even ask for the she just said, I'd just like to confirm you're at XX. And I'm like, yes, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I even hung up. I was waiting. I'm like, okay. I hope there's no catch in this story. And he came. The next thing I noticed is when I finally got into the cab, he got out of the car and opened the door for me. Hey, people, how many times has that happened to you? I know. So this is when I was like, okay, does this guy know I'm married? Should I just emphasize my marriage? No, I say for ladies, you're like, But I could see just from reading him that honestly, truthfully though, there was nothing weird about it. He was just being courteous and he said, welcome, please get in, glad to be of service. It was just, and I'll never forget, even up to now, I still think, this guy, I don't know where he was from. And so I got in at the back, he closed the door, went round, and I'd put the destination on the app, so he says, I'd like to confirm your destination. Are you already seeing? I'm sure you're all with me already, like, what? Who is this? So confirm my destination, very professional. Then asked me, what radio station do you prefer? Yo! Questions you're never asked. In fact, half the time I'm listening to Inoro. No one gives you an option. Whatever the cab guy is listening to, you're stuck with it. On a 2-hour traffic ride. This guy was like, I even got confused. I'm like, I'm not used to being asked. So I responded, and, is the air okay? Hey, I was like, guy, let's just go. Is the, whatever, do you like the air conditioning? Are you seeing? So, and when we were even on the way, he had this nice way of, it's like he read me enough, engaging in conversation, but not being overzealous. Some cab guys engage in conversation till you're tired. You're like, let me just get off because I didn't want all these stories, But he handled me. I felt like I was on an air flight, like on a plane, not in a cab. So everything went smoothly. And by the time we got where we were going, asking me, is it okay if I take this route? Can we, Very courteous throughout, up to the point where he dropped me. I felt like I'd been in a limousine, not a regular cab. And this happened, I think, about a year and a half ago. And I've never forgotten, and I gave him I even sent a message actually on the app because I was like, there are very few people like this in this town. And I hope for any of you in Uber or any of these services, you're paying attention because this is how you get people who live and call you outside of the app. And actually, I still have his number. Like, this guy is a cab guy. I'll call anytime because that was an experience I'll never forget. I'm sure most of you have even better experience, whether it was a hotel or anything. But the point here is we are in the age of customer experiences. So from now on, don't say customer service. Say customer, say it after me, experience, because you need to give customers memorable, emotional, connecting experiences. 2 years, 3 years from now, they should be saying, that person from this company, X, this is what they did for me. It should be something that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. If you do that, that's how you're going to take your business to the next level. So let's get into the next lectures where, beyond talking about service experiences and giving good experiences, I'll share with you some practical tips. We call them the magical 3. Few things you can do to really, give that customer experience in an amazing way. So now we're in the heart of customer service, right? And we've just talked about giving an experience, It's no longer about just giving a service. You have to make sure people have positive, memorable, unforgettable experiences. But as we do this, I want to share with you what I call the magical 3. There are many, but 3 are key. Things which if you do, you're almost guaranteed that you're likely to deliver that experience, amazing experience to your customers. And the magical 3 are communication, empathy, and knowledge. So let me start with communication. Communication is a big topic. Oh my God. When you hear communication, you're like, ooh, and it's a whole training in itself. Here, I'll just talk about communication in the context of customer service or customer experience, right? So there are different types of communication, and this affects a lot about how your customers have an experience with you. So let me break them down, and then as I share how your customers actually interact with these types of communication. So the first way you can communicate with your customer is verbal communication. What's verbal communication? Language, the way you speak, the English. I like that saying, guys like using Kizungu ilikuja kwa meli. English, direct translation, came on a ship. For those who are not Kenyans, who don't speak Swahili. But it's big. Verbal is about the words you use. We have this popular politician. You all know his name, I won't mention. Who knows how to use those big words, And the lingo, by the time he's finished dropping, people are even Googling and discussing him in the paper. So, in other words, language is powerful. You can actually have your own brand purely based on the language you use, how you speak. But this can also work against you. Let me give you examples. Hey, Kenyans, people, please. These habits of breaking out into your tribal language without consideration of other people in the room who are not from the same tribe. Can we please stop? Especially when customers are concerned. You've gone somewhere, it's a professional business. Maybe you walked into the reception, you're expecting a service. On the sideline, you're just hearing, feeling nothing. You're wondering, am I in a market? Am I in a business? What's going on? You know, so verbal communication is powerful. For business owners, please establish this professionalism in your workplaces because it has an impact on the image people have of your business. So verbal, when communicating with a customer, choose your words. Be careful of the language you use. Use correct English. Be professional. Don't assume tribalish. You know, I say English, Kiswahili is national languages. To be safe, stick to those ones. Don't even cross over with a customer. I don't know if there are any circumstances under which you can go local if you need to, but you know, be careful about that. Then the next one, vocal. Vocal is a voice, you know, vocal, how you speak. Can you be heard? You know, I could be here teaching you going, there are 3 types of communication. You can't even hear me. Vocal. No, vocal is that projection. What's the tone of your voice? Are you loud? You see, even the way I'm speaking, you have to be commanding. You have to be authoritative. So if your voice is too low, you can't be heard. People have to say, excuse me? Excuse me? Now, what did you say? Hello, customers will immediately just dismiss your stories. So vocal is the way, are you confident in the way you're projecting your voice? Be loud, not too loud, just, you know, you can be heard, your voice is confident, and it's not abrasive, all right? Finally, visual. Visual, you know, some of you thought I wasn't going to go there. But again, depending on the type of business you're in, you have to think about the impression you make on a customer when you walk in. A lot of us nowadays, hey, millennials, this is for you. We want to be casual and, you know, it's the cool work thing to do. Nothing wrong with that. But what's your role in the business? Does it allow for you to interact with customers like that? And even if it does, casual doesn't mean unkempt. Hello? It means you can be neat in your casual, looking a bit smart, even in your casual. Hello? You hear me? Yes? Yeah. So that's the thing you need to think about when I walk in the room. What sort of impression am I showing? Because if you don't handle this correctly, again, I know people who have been dismissed with a business deal, and it's probably a fantastic deal just from the way they appeared. People are like, I can't take you seriously looking like that, and it happens. So be cognizant of that. So remember, verbal, vocal, visual mode of communication affects the experience you give your customers, so you manage it well. Finally, a quick tip on communication, because I said this is a big topic, so I'm giving you the sweet stuff, quick and easy, right? Listening and probing. There's magic to listening. Most of us are not very good listeners. I'm guilty as charged, especially talkative people. We have a problem, but we have to learn to be good listeners because there's no way you're going to help people or give them an experience if you don't listen and understand what they need. Most of us don't listen. We are waiting for you to finish talking, so I talk. You know, that's what we do. That's not listening. Finish. My point I want to say. Listening is actually purposely paying attention. Keep your things to yourself. Wait for the person to finish their sentence and then contribute what you want. So you have to listen, and then probing is asking questions. There's nothing like that will connect you with people like asking questions. Ask. Okay, so why is the last time you're doing this? Why did that happen to you? Why do you need this service? Then ask. The more you ask, if you get to understand the pain and the issue a customer is going through, you will serve them in an amazing way without even trying. Because you've gotten to know what's the exact issue that the person is having. So listening and probing are communication skills that will help you give a good experience because they help you really, really understand your customer. And then on my side as a customer, you feel wanted because someone is actually paying attention to you. So to recap, communication is the first magical skill. And this is huge. I mean, we have a whole other course on communication. So it's a big topic. But it's important. It will help you always give a good experience. We have 3 types of communication. We said verbal, vocal, and visual, how you look. And remember that you have to use listening and probing. Good listening skills, asking questions to help you understand the customer. So let's move on to the next magical skill. So we're in the section that is in the heart of customer service. And you can see this is where there's that tactical information on what you do for your customer. And we said it's not about service, it's about experience. We've talked about the first magical skill, communication. The second one is empathy. And let me tell you a story. Let me explain this in a way that I think will make a lot of sense to you. So I want you to imagine, and especially in Nairobi, there's crazy traffic. And this is not hard to imagine. In fact, don't imagine. See, the last time he was stuck in crazy traffic, sitting there and like, oh God, cars are not moving. Then all of a sudden, and okay, let's assume you're driving. In fact, for those who don't drive, sorry, but visualize imagination. So you're driving. And then as you're there, you're getting ready, there's a cop at the roundabout, right? Trying to pass traffic, whatever, you're in a hurry, you're like, phew, I'm about to go. This guy comes out of nowhere and just, first of all, he speeds off, he takes off at speed, hits your car, and pushes you off the road. So now you're in a ditch. And did he stop? Did he check? No, he sped off. take a moment to imagine what you'd be going through that time. I can see you throwing cuss words at me. It's all right, even if I can't hear you. I'm not the one who was driving that car. I'm just giving you an example. But just take a moment to imagine the emotion you'd be feeling. That, you're like, oh, I'm late. It's crazy, right? And you're thinking, what gives this guy the right to hit my car and take off? The cop is there. You just imagine the drama that you're going through. Just take a moment. It's hard, right? And it's painful. Now, I want you to think about the situation in another way. So the guy has paid off. Even you've gone home, you've told your family, there was this guy. Wherever he is, may lightning strike. May his life, may he have bad luck, because he has just messed up your day. But then, imagine now that someone comes and tells you, or you're watching the news and you just realize, oh my God, this guy, what was actually happening is that his wife was in hospital and he had just received a call that she might be dying. So he was trying to rush to hospital to see if he could have final moments with her. And at that moment, it was a matter of life and death. He could not have stopped, he could not have talked, he had minutes to spare, and all he was thinking about and hoping for was a chance to actually get to hospital in time to have some time with his wife before he loses her, or to do something with the doctors to try and save his wife. Now, take a moment and tell me, how would you feel? Would you still be looking for that guy to pay for the accident? Maybe, maybe not. You can even see, for most people, just thinking about someone else going through that, all of a sudden your, dent becomes irrelevant because this is someone who's lost a loved one. Are you seeing my point? So the difference between the two situations is empathy. And that's why empathy is powerful, because empathy is about putting yourself in someone else's shoes. We say in empathy is a skill which says, I feel what you feel. So when something happens, rather than become defensive and angry, you take a moment to think, how does this look like from the other person's situation? So this guy was in a hurry, he hit me, he's paid off, but from his situation, there was a reason. And of course, I'm not saying there's always a reason. You're with me? But the thing is, empathy allows you to take a moment from a difficult situation and put yourself in the other person's shoes so you can practice some compassion. Customers need this from us, guys, a lot. Because most customers, when they go through frustrations, they escalate because we are not practicing empathy. You're not asking, how would I feel if I was this customer in this situation going through what they are going through? The minute you ask yourself that, trust me, the way you handle that customer, the way you talk to them, even that emotion, becomes key. You're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You empathize, you feel compassion. You want to do everything you can to sort them out. So empathy is powerful. I can't even talk enough about it. But just remember, the next time you're dealing with a customer, I feel what you feel. Keep reminding yourself that I feel what you feel, that if you practice that and you take time to do that, you'll always be able to give customers amazing experiences. So we're talking about the magical 3 skills that help you deliver an amazing customer experience. So the first one was what? You remember? Communication. And then the second one was empathy. Now the last one is knowledge. Now this one seems a bit odd. In fact, in other circles, guys call it competence, but I decided to make it easy for you. So we said English came on a ship. It was not our first language. So simple things, So knowledge, competence. Why this is important is because even as you're trying to deliver an amazing experience, I know we connect emotionally, but people also respect people who know their stuff. You need to know your stuff, You can't also just be saying, oh, I've practiced empathy. I felt what you felt, but I can't give you the information you're looking for. That's not going to work. So knowledge is simply to say you must be informed, very informed when you're dealing with customers. I don't know, you can imagine the last time you went somewhere, you were asking questions, even if it's a phone call. In fact, think about the way we call, telco. In fact, let's give one of our telecom companies here. You have a question about a new product that they are launching, Can you imagine if you find someone on the phone who tells you, yes, we've launched this internet product, this is how it works. In fact, let me check if it's in your area. Oh, your area is well covered. You know what? Tell me how you use the internet. I'm usually on YouTube. When you answer all those, you say, you know what? I'd even recommend for you this package of Dash and BPS. Doesn't that sound good? As opposed to someone who says, which one do you want? It's how much? So knowledge and information is very powerful to make customers feel comfortable and confident that you have what it takes to serve them. In fact, that's how you turn customers into advocates. Remember our life cycle? because they are also, you've given them you've educated them, they understand everything you do so well that they're actually even able to sell your products on your behalf. So knowledge is powerful because people respect someone who knows. We say learning never stops. Kudos to you for taking this course and getting to the end. We're almost at the end. This knowledge is very powerful, but you have to use it. So you always have to be informed. Take time to research. What's going on in your industry? What are the trends? This is an easy way to sell. What are people trying to do? So have as much knowledge as you can so that you can actually deliver an amazing experience. Knowledge also comes in terms of knowing, I call them sweet spots. Those nice things you do for customers so that you actually lock them in. I'll give you my own example. And when I understand some of the things I know some of my customers read, or someone who likes books, and of course as a trainer, that's something I encounter all the time. I take time sometimes, and when I know the book, they'll be talking and be like, I'm trying to read this book, or I'll read the person and what their interests are. And as a gift or as a thank you for giving me business, I'll actually buy them a copy of the book, write a handwritten thank you note and give it to them. That tactic has never failed me. Most of my repeat business came because of that. It's just a small but emotional connection. And what's the cost of a book, guys? But it's not a big purchase. I'm not flying them off to the Mara, woohoo, on an extravagant thing. It's a book. But books are sort of nice little gifts to give because they're lifetime. I'll read it, I'll remember every time I'm reading it. So that's one way. How am I able to do that? Because I have the knowledge about my customer also. I know what they like. And sometimes it can even be that thing guys do of a bottle of wine. It can even be a, nice pen. You with me? So knowledge about your customer, knowledge about what they like can also help you give them an amazing experience. So knowledge is twofold. It's about knowing your products and services, but also knowing enough about your customer, what they like, what they don't like, who they are, so that you can actually deliver that amazing experience to them. So knowledge is very important. Much as you want to have an emotional connection with your customer, know your stuff. When you do, that's the way you actually seal the deal in terms of giving that amazing customer experience. So we are getting into the final lesson. Guys, we made it! Woohoo! Apart from the conclusion, which is always there, we're actually getting to the end of the course. I'm proud of you. My goodness, you've stuck through to the end. And now you're a better customer guru. In fact, I'll start calling you a guru for this. So we've talked about customer service, right? Service versus experience. We've talked about the magical three. But this course would not be complete without talking about one more thing. How do we handle complaints? Because you know what? In an ideal world, customers would love us. It would be rainbows and sunshine and everything is good. But you know what? Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. I'm sure you've made a few already. And when mistakes happen, that's normal. It's part of business. But it's very, very critical how we handle those mistakes. That's what makes the difference between giving a good experience again and a negative one. And you know what? Some of our best customers, I can tell you some of my best customers are customers who I made mistakes with. You know why? The way you handle the mistake can even end up making the customer closer to you than you did not even make the mistake at all. Meaning, mistakes are never the problem. Guess what, guys? Customers don't get frustrated by the mistake. They get frustrated by the way we handle the mistake. You hear me? So don't feel like you made a mistake. Oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. No. Once you make the mistake, it's going to happen. Let me just tell you. The thing is, how are you handling the mistake? The way you handle the mistake can actually make the customer even feel like this is part of that amazing experience that you're getting. And they actually don't even pay attention to the mistake. So how do you handle complaints? Customers will complain. There's a trick I like using, and it's a model called LEARN. So the initials are LEARN. If you remember LEARN, LEARN is actually a model or a tool, easy to remember when you're dealing with a customer complaint. So I'm going to run through or walk you through LEARN very quickly and just explain it in terms of understanding those five. Are they five? LEARN. 5 steps that you can follow to ensure that you handle customer complaints efficiently. So the LEARN model is made up of 5 key letters. LEARN. I've said that before, right? So L is for listen, E is for empathize, A is for apologize, R is for resolve, and N is for notify. So how does this apply? And I'll just give you my own example, because guess what? I've made mistakes too. I remember when we were handling one of our corporate clients, and like I said, I'm in training, so we're actually going to do a training for them. And when you're doing training, there are different aspects involved in the logistics. One key part of training, and you guys have gone through this with classroom trainings, there's a book you're given, where you have to take notes, and tells all the notes of the training. We call it the workbook. So we usually have to print and prepare workbooks for our clients. And this is something very important. It usually has the client's logo, something professionally done. And so this client came at the last minute. Are you already seeing? The mistake is not all ours. But they came and they gave us 1 week and we had a huge group of people to train, but we ran with it with the team. We worked on the workbooks, we printed the materials, everything was done. There we were on Monday morning, shows up, me, the trainer, ready for the show, to do the training, feeling excited. And then one of the directors and the one who handles HR, because they're the ones who handle the training, casually walks up to me. There's no moments we are prepping. The materials have been placed on everyone's table. Guys are walking in, and they come up to me and they're like, why is there a different logo on our workbook? Hey, have you ever felt your heart just... And I'm in business. I'm watching a corporate client. And now, the other thing I tell business owners, you're always in the line of fire, because I'm not the one who prepared the materials. But what the team had done, this story of copy-pasting, guys, it's very dangerous. So whatever copy-pasting had happened in preparing the materials, they forgot, imagine, to swap the client logo. Tell me if it was you. A client, a professional client, and you put the logo of another company. It's like the ultimate insult, the pain involved. So there I was, caught with my mouth open, not knowing. I'm like, oh my God, and I immediately saw the issue. And that wasn't the only issue. There were also mistakes in the workbook. Basically, guys just dropped the ball. They did this thing in a hurry. They just did not cross-check the work. It was a disaster. And we printed many. By then, we spent money. But in that moment, she was not, and I can tell this is someone who's older than me. I'll even give you the situation. She's very senior in the company. So when she walked up to me, she was not being nice about it, and she was like, this is unprofessional. In fact, she said, this is completely unacceptable. She went into a lecture, like I'm a child, telling me about why is this happening. And so the first process kicks in, learn. I was like, learn, we have to leave my verdicts, what I'm teaching, and learn help came in. And how do you apply learn in that situation? Step one is what? Listen. When she walked up to me, I didn't interrupt her. Most of us start saying, oh my God, I'm sorry, what happened? Listen. Let the person, no matter how painful it is, even if that more or lecture I was getting, I had to let her get it out. So she explained it, and said a lot of things. Some of them were painful. I just thought you've been doing... when people are mad or frustrated, they say a lot of hurtful things, and I just had to take it in. Why? I've made a mistake. I have to be humble. This is not the time to be on my high horse and start saying, oh, you guys gave us the job at the last minute, eh? Some of you do that. So I don't know why you're expecting... So listen. I listened, and she had... It's like, get it all out. Talk. So you let the customer just... Let them say everything. But then we already say, to be sure someone has finished their point, wait until there's a pause in the conversation. So don't interrupt. That's what it means to listen. So she has to finish her whole story. So she told me everything. It was like a good, 5 minutes was a long. She just talked, and I did not even interrupt. This was me. Yeah. That's it. I'm not even saying, sorry, I'm just listening. Then step 2 kicks in. When she was done, when she took a pause, when I have my moment where I can come in, don't come in to explain. Come in to do what? Apologize. Now remember, am I the one who printed the workbooks? But am I responsible? Yes. So the other thing I want to teach you is it doesn't matter if the mistake was yours or your team members or your colleagues. You always apologize on behalf of the company, because in that moment, you represent the business. So even if the mistake wasn't yours, the customer is in front of you, they are mad, someone has to take ownership and accountability. So step up, just say, I apologize, and be sincere. And don't even start giving explanations at that point. Just say, I am so sorry, which is what I said. This is completely unacceptable. I understand why you're annoyed. I can't even believe this has happened. I have no words to express how apologetic I am and how sorry I am for this. This is not the way we conduct our business. I'm going to try and find out what happened, but first I just want you to know I am truly, truly, truly sorry. Everything you've said is true. I owe you better. Take that, humble pie and just apologize. After you apologize, that's E, right? The next thing is empathizing. Sorry, I flipped it. So empathize and apologize come together. Sorry, guys. So listen, empathize. Empathizing and apology. Empathizing is I feel what you feel. So empathizing is what I was saying, where I understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling. You're correct. I agree with you. I take responsibility. So listen, empathize and apologize come together. You have to be sorry, feel it, express it, and then say it. I hope I've not lost you there, okay? Next step is to resolve. So remember, all this time, have I offered a solution? I'm just accepting the mistake, letting the customer vent, letting the emotions kick in, letting my own sorry kick in. Then I attempt a solution. And to resolve, remember now it has to be quick. So for me it was, we're going to in the next moment, I'm going to call my team, we're going to imprint all the workbooks. Everyone will have new workbooks by the afternoon. It's not an extra cost. We take full responsibility. We'll even make the workbooks better. I'll throw in an extra. Whatever you need to say. To to make the customer feel you have adequately solved the situation. And there's urgency in this. Sometimes if your solution is going to take long, come up with like the quick fix. You know that thing of I can do this immediately as we try and sort the long-term issue. But trying to make sure the customer doesn't leave feeling like, hey, I'm going to consult and then I'll come back to you when they're mad. And no, there has to be something you give them in that moment, and then you say, we'll continue to work on the situation and ensure that it's fully resolved. So resolve, sort it out. Make sure they leave feeling, hey, someone is working on my problem. Finally, notify. When the whole situation has been solved, don't assume, like for me, workbooks came, but it was very stressful. I actually hired an external person to do it. I didn't even go to my team because I knew the production time has to be quick. So got a company, sent whatever. I was doing that in between my breaks, corrected, gave them what to print. They printed. We'll deal with the costs later. But after all that is done, you still have to come back and close it by telling the customer, hey, this is what I've done. The situation has been solved. Everyone has a new workbook. We've taken away the old workbooks. So notify and let them know. It's like close the issue. Some of us, after we sort it out, we move on. Maybe the customer is still waiting to hear, are we done? So notify the customer is telling them, hey, this is what I've done to solve the situation, and it's not going to happen again, and we're good, right? So remember, listen, let them talk and express themselves. Empathize, I feel what you feel. I understand, therefore I apologize and I take full responsibility, and then resolve, give them a solution, and then notify. Yeah, tell them how you've sorted the situation and close it out. So if you use this formula, it's a good way to handle complaints. If you keep remembering, learn. Whenever you're stuck with a customer, you'll actually be able to sort it out. That's the last lesson, most key lesson on handling complaints. Celebration, we're done. Well done. You've actually finished a whole customer service course. You're a ninja. Thank you for sticking with me through the process, and I know you've learned a lot of things. So this final section was about customer service, right? We talked about service versus experience. We talked about the magical 3. We talked about how to handle complaints. So on the next lecture, I'd like you to download an activity. Again, I want you to try and apply some of these things practically. So the activity will walk you through thinking about different complaint situations you've had and how you would learn to them. And I'll also help you to come up with some experiences, some ways some ideas, it's like a brainstorming. It'll be fun. You should even do it with some people in your team. Brainstorm around how you can bring experiences more into the business rather than just giving service. Thank you for completing this customer service course. It's been amazing getting to share with you some tips and insights about customer service. Man, I hope you apply. By the way, I always say it's not about the knowledge, it's about the application. Take everything you've learned, do something with it, and that's when you start to see a difference. You'll start to shine, And guys will wonder, what happened? This person is suddenly doing some amazing things in their business. You'll get your promotion. So it's not just about the information, it's how you use it. So we've covered defining your customer. You now know who a customer is. Remember the word custom, right? Habit or process of serving. That's where a customer comes from. We talked all about that. We also talked about customer life cycle. Remember Kukatiana, the whole dating thing. We walked through the process, 5-step process of actually engaging your customer, and you had a nice activity around that. I hope it was useful. And now you remember the process of actually engaging your customer. And finally, we went into the heart of what customer service is. We talked about service versus experience. We talked about the magical 3, which are what? Communication, empathy, knowledge. And of course, we talked about handling complaints and the LEARN model, an effective model to remember when you're dealing with customers who have complaints and who you're trying to sort out. So this was an introduction. I tried to keep it simple and summarized. You can review the course. By there, I welcome feedback. In fact, please drop me a message, ask questions, give any feedback on what else you'd want to see in this course. Maybe I can do a part 2 on an area that you feel you'd want more information. But most important, do the activities, use the knowledge, and I believe you're going to become the next big customer service guru out there, and I can't wait to see it.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like and share, comment, get involved, let us know what you think, what you want to learn next, and join us next time.